The 2023 NBA mock draft of all time. No, this is not my mock draft. I've decided that I'm just going to be reacting to them until the actual draft happens because I'm still doing some research on some players. Obviously, like the first 20, 25 prospects I know of. But there's just some guys that are getting hyped that I just realized I haven't really watched too much tape of. So I'm not going to make an official mock draft until the actual order comes out. But until then, we're going to be reacting to them. And if anyone watching this has a mock draft you want me to react to, or maybe someone else made one you want me to react to, just let me know in the comments because trust me, I'm not Hollywood. I'll react to anyone's. With the first pick, the Pistons get Victor Wembanyama. No brainer. I don't care. He can play with Duren. He can play with Wiseman. I don't care. Generational talent. Take him. Clearly, he doesn't care, so we can move on. No, but Victor, it's going to be a weird fit seeing him with Duren, seeing him with Wiseman. I guess with Duren, he could play power, or Victor could play power forward. Victor's, skinnier, smaller frame. Duren's bigger, wider frame. Ideally, just as an NBA fan, this is not really the place I'd want to see him. I mean, I guess he'd be cool next to Cade Cunningham, but just I'd rather see him on a team that actually needs a center. And he can play the four, but I want him to be a rim protector. With the second pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Scoot Henderson. Spurs found their point guard. I can't agree anymore. This guy is easily not only the second best prospect in the draft, but also the second best point guard in the draft, which the Spurs need. I mean, no matter what, you take the second best guy available, even if it's not a positional need, because it's such a positionalist, I have trouble saying that, league where you don't really need positions. But Scoot is the second best player. I think he's easily a future all-star. He just has so much explosiveness. He can get to the rim. And the center position is so replaceable that now that you have Scoot, now you can find your future center that will fit with Scoot, fit with Branham, fit with Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and all those players. And I'm going to try and fly by these easy picks that everyone has. But this one so far, the Hornets selecting Brandon Miller at 3, I really don't like it. I think Amen and LaMelo are such a good fit together because one could be a point of attack defender. One could be, LaMelo's so good at running the fast break, and Amen could obviously throw down on the fast break or just run the fast break himself. Both can be good playmakers. If Amen gets his actual three-point shot going, he could be amazing off the ball. LaMelo will definitely be amazing off the ball next to Amen. I think they both just fit really well. Brandon Miller, I also just don't think he's as good of a prospect. I think his defense is all right. It's nothing generational. He's a really good shooter. Don't get me wrong. And I love that about him. He's definitely improved on his finishing, but we haven't seen that kind of finishing throughout his entire basketball career. So it's is that consistent? Will that translate to the NBA? I don't know, but it's not a bad pick. It's the second best option. But yeah, let's see. Miller, a suspected accomplice to murder, will fit in seamlessly with the established culture in Charlotte. Okay, that's okay, I guess. He's not technically wrong, but with the fourth pick, the Raptors win the lottery. Well, they get the fourth pick, and they get Amen Thompson. This team needs three-point shooting, so bad. Oh, so effing bad that other teams would make sense. Okay, I really don't like the spacing with Amen and Scotty Barnes and potentially OG unless they trade him, and Siakam and Podol. That spacing just sounds terrible, but this is the best prospect available. I don't know, man. I think you might just have to trade down. I will say the point guard position might be available because Fred VanVleet, I think he's going to be a free agent in the offseason and he might leave. That would be kind of an upgrade, I guess, but and the Raptors are so good at developing that maybe this does make sense eventually, but I would kind of want them to replace OG with some shooters then. I don't want to have to see Amen develop with no spacing at all. I think that's just the worst situation for him, but if the Raptors can get more spacing around him, now that they know they're getting Amen, that would be a huge win. With the fifth pick, the Rockets fall down and get Cam Whitmore. This team feels a while away, but hey, hopefully they don't F this project up. I mean, this is interesting for sure. Once again, I mean, it's me and this guy. Well, actually, he had Brandon Miller above Amen, but Cam Whitmore is also fifth on my big board. And as good as I think Tari Eason is, I really do think the Rockets need that small forward position filled up. And I really don't want to see Jabari Smith move to the 3. I like him as a 4. Cam Whitmore is just a freight train. He's good at driving. He has a really good quick first step. And I think he has a lot of shooting potential as well. And defensive potential. I think with his frame, I mean, he's been inconsistent because Villanova wasn't that good this season. But just overall, I mean, him next to Udoka, developing under Udoka, I think it'd be amazing. Jarris Walker falling to the Blazers at 6 is pretty chalk. Oh yeah, what a fit, baby. Yeah. What am I reading? It's pretty consensus. I'll just move on to the next one. At 7, I haven't seen this yet. Cason Wallace at 7. Hey, Orlando, do you want a Kentucky guard that will terrorize the opposing backcourt and give you solid scoring and playmaking? Of course you do. Congrats. Now, this is really interesting because 1, Cason Wallace is a prospect who can fall to the second Orlando pick, which should be I think 11 or 12. 2, right now the Magic are pretty congested at the point guard position with, Suggs has been playing shooting guard, but he's a point guard, Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony. But honestly, I haven't really thought about it, but Cason Wallace might be pretty high on my big board. This might be up to par where he is. I mean, Orlando is a team that struggles defensively, so Cason Wallace would help. It's just, I don't know about this pick. I don't like it for some reason. It rubs me the wrong way. If I had to do a mock draft, which I won't until the actual order is set, But I would give him a shooting guard, especially like Grady Dick. I think he's going to be a really good fit next to him, but maybe he has him falling to the second Orlando pick. But I just don't think, will Grady Dick fall to 12? I don't know. At 8, Indiana picks Asar Thompson. Yeah, him falling to 8 would be amazing for Indiana. You get him and Matherin. That is an extremely athletic duo, along with Halliburton's playmaking and ability to run the court. I see a lot of people pick Taylor Hendricks here, which isn't bad at all. But I wouldn't hate if Indiana, Indiana has like 3 or 4 first round picks. A lot of them are like 26 through 30, but still, I wouldn't hate if Indiana traded up to get both of Asar and Taylor Hendricks. So, I mean, is this really a positional need? I don't know. But I like him. I like Asar as a prospect. I don't hate it. At 9, the Wizards get Anthony Black. This is pretty consensus. I won't talk about it as much as well. Wizards have a point guard. Wizards have a point guard, he says. That's right. And at 10, the Utah Jazz pick up Taylor Hendricks. I mean, I don't think this will ever happen in a million years that Taylor Hendricks would fall, just because he's been on the rise recently, and I think scouts agree with pretty much the online Twitter scouts, YouTube scouts or whatever. Taylor Hendricks is a really good prospect. Just fits the modern NBA, can shoot the three, can play defense. Yo, if Taylor Hendricks and Walker Kessler team up defensively, that is an amazing rim protecting duo that you honestly can't go wrong with. I love this pick if he falls. At 11, the New York Knicks get the pick from the Mavericks because the Raptors moved up. They get Grady Dick. I mean, it's just a shooter. I don't know how I feel about this because, I mean, what's the goal with this? When you get a really high lottery pick, your expectation is eventually he can become a starter. Do you think he replaces Grimes? Do you think he replaces RJ? I guess Grady Dick can play the 2 or 3. I mean, this guy says everyone needs a shooter with size. I can't disagree. Maybe he can be a 6th man, 7th man. That would be really valuable for the Knicks. I just think a lot of Knicks fans really believe in Grimes, and who would I go, though? You know what? It's not my mock draft. I'm not even going to think about that. Grady Dick on the Knicks, that'd be a good fit. Now, at 12, he has the Magic getting Keontae George. I really don't like this. What I think Keontae George will be is a really good 6th man who you don't really want him to take shots away from the starters, so you will put him on the bench. And apparently in this draft, the Magic of 2 picks, and this guy has neither pick really aiming for a starting shooting guard. Like, I just really wouldn't see a Keontae George, Franz Wagner, and Paulo Banchero big 3. Like, that's just too many shots. I think you need some defenders around him, some like spot up shooters, which just Keontae George is not it. At 13, the OKC Thunder select Derek Lively II. OKC could use any one of 20 names here without surprising me, but the thing is, they need most is size and shooting, so I'll get one of those. Honestly, I really want to see Keontae George on the Thunder because they need kind of a ball handler guy. But I don't hate this fit at all. I mean, you have Chet who's coming in next year. Hopefully he'll be healthy. But if Chet isn't healthy or you just need a backup center, Lively has a lot of good size. But if you already have a young guy in Chet, I really think the OKC Thunder should just pick up a vet backup center who's not going to play too many minutes, in my opinion. But I don't hate the pick at all. At 14, the Pelicans pick Jordan Hawkins. I see this a lot, and it honestly makes sense. Josh Richardson might not be back in the offseason, who was a really good backup shooting guard for them. Jordan Hawkins can come in, do the same thing, play defense, shoot threes. Gigi Jackson going to the Hawks. John Collins has been on the trade block for 4 years. Gigi to Atlanta is the new Oche to Cleveland. I'm a Hawks fan if you guys didn't know. I really don't like this. I don't like the idea of the Hawks being the team to take on the project in Gregory Jackson II. When they're trying to compete, they have John Collins right now, and we don't know if he'll be traded. They have Jalen Johnson right now. They have Sadiq Bey right now. They have AJ Griffin. They just have too many players to play. And I mean, I guess Gigi could just ride the G League for the first year of his career, but I don't want to see that happen. I want him to go to a team that'll actually develop him. And I think the Hawks need a backup point guard. And so far, I haven't heard Nick Smith, and I haven't heard Jalen Hood-Schifino. I don't like this pick. At 16, the Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino, who I just talked about. I think this is amazing. They also got Taylor Hendricks, so a really good 2 picks in the draft. I mean, Hood-Schifino, I don't think he has that high of a ceiling, but he has a really high floor. I think he'll be a really good role player in today's NBA. And next to Kessler, next to Lauri Markkanen, next to Taylor Hendricks, I mean, that's really all you need. At 17, the Lakers get Nick Smith Jr. Really interesting because the Lakers right now have D'Lo and they have Dennis Schroeder. So the Lakers are doing really good in the playoffs right now. As I'm recording this, I mean, the game's in a couple hours. We don't know who's going to win the series, but assuming the Lakers make it like even farther in the playoffs, I don't think they should be looking to replace any of their point guards. But that's just my opinion. Nick Smith Jr. is a good prospect, and maybe you just believe in him. I mean, he was supposed to be a top 5 prospect going into the year, and because of injuries and inconsistencies, he's fallen. So if you still believe in him, you know what? Best player available, go ahead. At 18, the Heat get Colby Buffkin. Colby Buffkin just fits in Miami. This is Heat culture. Kyle Lowry is old and bad. If you don't like this pick, then you don't know ball. I like the pick. I'm still in the middle of my, looking a lot into Colby Buffkin and Jet Howard phase. But he looks solid. He looks like a hard worker, and Eric Spoelstra loves hard workers. The Heat need a point guard. I think he can be a point guard. He might start out as shooting guard. I don't think his playmaking's all the way there, but this should be good. And by the way, I'm just doing the first round. At 19, the Warriors get Ryan Rupert. Interesting. There are no bigs worth taking here left, so let's get this young core some much needed perimeter defense. I mean, I don't want to say I hate it, but like you have Trace Jackson Davis, who would be a really good fit to the current Warrior system, and I think they're just better players than Ryan Rupert. I mean, he's really good defensively, but he has no offense, and how are you even supposed to be able to develop if you have no offense on the Golden State Warriors? I mean, Gary Payton II needs minutes, or he gets minutes in the playoffs, but barely, and he's like one of the best defenders in the NBA. I think there are better options. Just looking down, the next couple are better options. The 20th pick, the Rockets get Bilal Coulibaly. I think that's how you say his name. No better place to develop a major developmental project than H-Town, baby. I like the pick. For the sole purpose of I'm high on this guy, I think he'll be really good. He is a project and it'll take some years. On the Rockets, I mean, you have Tari Eason as a kind of like a backup four right now. And didn't they already get a small forward? Yeah, the Rockets already got Cam Whitmore. And you know what? Actually, I don't like this pick. I wish Bilal Coulibaly could go somewhere else because, I mean, for a project, how much priority is this guy getting on a rebuilding team? You got Whitmore, you got Jabari, you got Tari Eason, you got probably another forward I'm not thinking about ahead of him. How much attention will this guy get for being a project? If you're not a project, you don't need too much attention. But a guy like this, I guess he could develop in the G League. But I don't know about this fit. At 21, the Nets get Bryce Sensabaugh. Brooklyn buckets. I'm kind of tired of the Nets getting, forwards with Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Mikal Bridges, just these defensive forwards that aren't giving you too much on offense. I mean, I like Cam and I like Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges has really stepped up, but like someone like Dorian Finney-Smith, I guess you're looking to replace him. I'm not really too high on DFS, but you know what? Bryce Sensabaugh, he's a really good offensive player, which I really like. So if you are going to get a wing, get him. But the next one, 22, Leonard Miller, man, just as someone who's low-key rooting for Leonard Miller to really thrive in the NBA, just the Brooklyn fit is not for me. I'd like to see them get some legit scores, but maybe he can work out in Brooklyn. At 23, the Portland Trailblazers get Jet Howard. He's big, he can shoot, he can play make a little. Can he do anything else? We'll find out. I've seen a lot of people love this guy, and I don't really want to pick him high, but if he falls to 23, I really like him as a prospect. He's going to get picked next to Jarris Walker on the Blazers. I mean, a 6'8 shooter, that should fit next to Damian Lillard. I think he'll be a good piece. He can potentially play the 2 or 3 next to a young core. Like, if you know me, I just want the Blazers to have a clean slate without Damian Lillard. Just trade Damian Lillard for some pieces, and then you have Anthony Simons, Sharp, Howard, Jarris Walker, and then whoever you want at the 5. Hopefully get a young 5, maybe Ayton. Actually, well, that wouldn't work because Dame would go to the Suns, but you know what I mean. That'd be a really good young duo. I like this pick. At 24, the Kings get Dariq Whitehead, more shooting with some potential high upside, a backup 3. That's all you need. I love the pick. No need to talk about anything else. At 25, the Grizzlies get Maxwell Lewis. Max Lewis will be an elite NBA player as long as he's subbed off the floor for all the defensive possessions. He looks like a really good player. He's 6'7". He can do all the offensive things you want. And if there's an organization I trust to fully develop someone, it's going to be the Grizzlies. Now, Chris Murray falls all the way to 26 to Indiana. Maybe he doesn't fit the timeline that well, but they need a 4, and he's the best prospect available. And I'm getting lazy. It makes enough sense. I mean, the Pacers aren't rebuilding, so getting a winning 4 like Chris Murray would be really good. And this fits positional need because they got Asar Thompson earlier in the draft. I like this. Sidi Sissoko to the Hornets. I really don't know too much about this guy, besides the fact that I like the other 2 international wings better, Ryan Rupert and Bilal Coulibaly. At 28, the Jazz pick Colby Jones. If one more person compares him to Josh Hart, I will commit felony arson on 17 communities. Okay, that's messed up, man. But I mean, yeah, this guy in this draft has the Jazz attacking the 3 positions they need: point guard, power forward, and shooting guard. Colby Jones, I think he's just a good all-around player. He doesn't really have a weakness, but his strengths aren't really that good. But if you're on the Jazz, you have enough time to develop real strengths and be a really good NBA player. As long as, I don't know, does Colin Sexton and Clarkson get minutes? I feel like one of them gets traded during the offseason to free up minutes for Colby Jones, but I like it. At 29, Noah Clowney. This is a guy that a lot of people are high on, and I just don't understand the hype, so I'm trying to watch the tape. I'm in the middle of it. But him falling to 29 is apparently really good because a lot of people, look at this. ESPN 19th player in their big boards. Fanspo consensus is 21. We'll see. But getting another power forward center kind of big, is really good defensively. That can only help Indiana. And at 30, the Clippers get a center, James Najee. I looked a little bit into this guy, and he seems really good. Just a really powerful, strong center. You're not going for a star, but you're just looking for a good role player, which he'll probably be. But yeah, that's going to be the NBA mock draft first round. Shout out to this guy. What's his name? Raw Hoops. If you want me to react to yours, go ahead. Send the link down below in the comments, or just tell me where to find it, and I'll find it. And yeah, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and peace.